Hey kids, LeAnne here with Happy Mail by LeAnne. You can reach me at happymailbyleanne@gmail.com. Pardon me. I had port surgery. I had a port placed in my chest for chemotherapy treatment. And since I had that port surgery, I've had this scratchy cough, and I am taking, the doctor told me to use Flonase, and it's getting better with the Flonase, but I still cough occasionally, so pardon that. Today we're going to be using this Stampin' Up! Frogs and Flies. There's no, it's from 1998. It's one of my very favorite stamp sets, and to save time, I have stamped, colored, and fussy cut the two images that we're going to use, because I'm going to teach you how to make a background. I couldn't find scrapbook paper that I liked, or background paper that I liked to use on this. So I drew a grid pattern. First thing I did was I found the center of this paper by measuring this way and this way. Then the next thing I did was I measured across this way and this way, hitting the center. Then I measured, you can see these little dots. I measured to make the grid pattern. And I don't remember the measurements I used. You kind of have to go off of the size stamp you have. We're going to use this little flies. We're going to use the flies. So let's get started. I have a fun story I want to tell you while I'm doing this. I have 3 sons and a daughter. And my number 2 son would come up with grand plans or ideas, and my number 3 son would carry them out. So I'm just stamping between the grid. And my number 2 son would end up getting in trouble for doing, or my number 3 son would get in trouble for what my number 2 son planned. And I didn't know until they were adults that, you know, number 2 was the one that came up with all of the crazy things that number 3 did, and would just remain quiet while number 3 got in trouble. Pardon me. So one day, I had the windows open. We lived in this little 2-bedroom duplex, and the front of the house was the kitchen, and it had these great big windows in it that went almost to the ground. And the ice cream man went by, and the kids wanted me to give them ice cream, and I didn't have any money, so I told them no. Next thing I know, they're gone. Number 2 climbed out the front kitchen window and was running down the street chasing the ice cream man in his diaper. And I had to go chase him down the street and bring him home. Well, I'm sure that number 2 climbing out the window, or number 3 climbing out the window, was number 2's idea. That's just one of the many, many things that those kids did. Number 3 was kind of an exhibitionist. When he was I don't know, maybe 4. He used to get on his scooter and race the mail lady from mailbox to mailbox. And one day I had him in the bathtub taking a bath. Well, I needed to use the restroom, so I went into my bathroom. I know, bad mom, leaving my 4-year-old in the bathtub by himself, but I had to pee and I wasn't going to pee in front of him. So I ran to my bathroom, went potty, and came right back. And when I came back, he was gone. Like, nowhere to be found. And so I went outside looking for him. And what should I see but number 3 racing the mail lady from mailbox to mailbox, naked as a jaybird. Grin on his face, mail lady laughing, just happy as could be, those two. And several years later, when the mail lady retired, she said to me, as long as I live, I will never forget him racing me down from mailbox to mailbox in his birthday suit. Okay, so we got the first section done. I'm getting a little bit of ink on the back of the card, I think. Oh no. Shoot. Did you see? I dropped that and got a little mess. I'm going to leave it though. It's going to be okay. Okay. So I've gone this way. Now I'm going to go this way because we're making a grid. And it's going to look a little crazy because these flies are going to be overlapping each other. But that's what I want. I want, you know, when flies swarm, they, it's gross. They're everywhere. When you get into I don't know if you've ever had a experience where you've been in a swarm of flies. But in my town, while I was a little girl growing up, we had chicken farms. And they were actually egg farms. But they had chickens. And because of all the chickens, there were a lot of flies in my hometown. A lot of flies. And they would clean the coops and have burn days where they burned the feathers and the poop. And it reeked. It was an awful smell. But it also brought the flies. And it didn't matter where you went in this town, there were flies everywhere. So this background with all the flies swarming everywhere is very reminiscent to me of my childhood. Pardon me. Okay, we are almost done with this part of the... I didn't make a second one. So you're gonna have to bear with me while I erase first we gotta make sure that the ink is dry, and then we're gonna erase the pencil lines. Well, I'm gonna erase the pencil lines. Hopefully you're gonna watch while I tell you more stories. I'm trying to think of another crazy story. Oh, I think I told you about the time that number 3 jumped off the roof onto the trampoline. You know, number 2 and number 3 just did some crazy stuff. And it got to the point where, well, so they would come ask me if they could do something, and I would tell them no, and then they would go do it anyway. And so I finally got to the point where I said, instead of saying no, See, now isn't that cute? With all the flies swarming everywhere. I think it's cute. Anyway, I got to the point where instead of saying no, I would say, I will come supervise. That way, if somebody gets hurt, we can go to the emergency room. And one day, number 3 came in and said, Mom, can I jump off the roof onto the trampoline? And I said, yes, but let me get the camera first. So we have it on video, him jumping off of the roof onto the trampoline. Well, poor little guy, you know, the trajectory was such that when he hit that trampoline, it went all the way to the ground and he hit his tailbone. And, you know, there's nothing they can do for a hurt tailbone. So he's screaming, ow, 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 you know. And I had told him, you know, it wasn't immediately, let's get the camera. It was, are you sure you want to do that? It doesn't sound safe. Yeah, I want to do it. Okay, then let's get the camera and I'll record it. And so I have it on camera. I have a video somewhere, I'm not sure where, of him jumping off the roof. And he was probably in the 4th grade when he did that, maybe younger. He is very adventurous, this child of mine. Very adventurous. One of the houses that we lived in, he just would walk into the neighbor's house. You know, he'd go over to the neighbor's house and just walk right in like he owned it. And we didn't know those neighbors, and one of them came and chewed me out once for letting him walk in their house. And I'm like, I'm sorry, you know, I don't know what to tell you. But I guess he not only walked in their house, but he went right upstairs into the, he just walked in and went upstairs like he owned it. So, you know, he's lucky to be alive, that kid. He's done some crazy stuff. Okay, I am satisfied with this. I can still see. Let me make sure I get all the pencil marks off. I think it's super cute. It's not a background that you're going to see anywhere else. Does anybody else have this stamp set? You know, let me know if you do. It is absolutely one of my favorites. I love this. I love this little, well, if you can see, this little frog girl says fresh flies 5 cents. And then this little frog boy, I don't know if it's gonna, says pickled flies. And they're just cute. My mom collected frogs when I was a little girl. And so frogs have a special place in my heart. So we're going to bump this up with I can't think of what this is called. Foam tape. I'm going to bump it up with foam tape. Pardon me for coughing again. My throat, it has this tickle in the far back. And it's from being, you know, anytime you have surgery, they intubate you. So it's from shoving a tube down my throat. But it's okay. I am okay. I know I don't have COVID because I've tested twice for it and it was negative both times. So please don't worry that I have COVID. I do not. I do not have COVID. I did have COVID in July. And I had a mild case of it. It was not fun. COVID is nasty. It's just a nasty, nasty illness. I'm going to put this little guy right in here because I think he's cute and I want to use him. We are almost done with this card. If there's, you know, if there's something you want to see or a story you want me to talk about, if you have questions about what's happening in my life personally, you know, right now I'm getting ready to go through chemotherapy again because I've had a reoccurrence of my cancer. I actually start chemotherapy in, I think it's 3 days. So I may be hit or miss on my videos because chemotherapy makes me very sick, as you can imagine. I probably won't feel like making videos if I can even get up and get to my desk, because that is a thing. Oh, see, look, there's a little bit of a mess on the back of the card, but that's okay. It's the back of the card. And then I'm going to stamp it with my little signature, and we're going to be done with it. That didn't work very good. It has my name, that's what matters. So, there is our cute little frogs and flies card with the homemade background. I hope you liked it and that you enjoyed. Like I said, if you have questions or comments, please comment. I love interacting with you guys. I love telling you my crazy stories about my kids and about myself. I do have some stories about things that have happened in the recent past with my health, if it's something you want to hear. If you don't want to hear about it because it's too much of a bummer, let me know and I won't talk about it. Anyway, I hope you have a great day. I love you all very much, and we will see you next time.